Hello, my name is Nitin Pradhan and I'm the co-founder of ScaleUp USA. ScaleUp USA is a digital business and career growth accelerator. And we actually cater to both US as well as international markets. And today's topic is very interesting. We're talking about applying to Ohio State University, what you need to know. And you're going to find some very interesting information here in this presentation because this is a very unique presentation. We are not going to talk about fluff. We're going to talk about data-driven application. So stay tuned. So what are we going to discuss today? We are going to discuss the university overview. You're going to get to know a little bit about Ohio State University. What's the competition to get in? What are the selection criteria? What kind of test scores are required? What kind of financial consideration and financial aid is available? What kind of security and safety is available? And ultimately, you're going to listen and get access to a valuable number of resources that you are going to find very useful when you're applying to US colleges and universities. Now, this program is entirely free. So what we request you in return is that you subscribe to our channel, like and share our videos, and then take the free foundational program. The free foundational program that I'm going to actually put a link in the text below is going to be very important because it can save you a ton of money and it can actually help you get your career on a fast track. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to mention is we are going to talk about Ohio State University. Ohio State University is actually in Columbus, Ohio. That's where the main campus is. It's a very good research university, and US News and World Reports actually ranks it, I think, 56th amongst all the universities in US. Just so that you understand, the universities in US, there are about 4,000 of them. The top 300 or so are considered national universities. And when we suggest to our students where they should apply, we really strongly suggest that we stay in the top 300. And we're going to get discussion about how you go about it a little later on. But that's what we're going to talk about Ohio State University. So now, the question is, where is Ohio State University? So Ohio State University is in Columbus, Ohio. And Columbus, Ohio is really near to many major cities. It's near Pittsburgh, it's near Cleveland, it's near Detroit, here's Detroit, it's near Cincinnati, and most importantly, it's very near Washington, D.C. So it's a drivable distance all the way from Ohio State to Washington, D.C. and back. And the reason I'm mentioning these cities is because you are going to need a great job after you complete your university. And if it's time for you to go out and do interviews or go out and actually, do internships, having a nearby location where there are lots and lots of jobs available is really a great thing. And Washington, D.C. Right here is a terrific place that you can actually go and find lots and lots of jobs at. So as promised, I'm going to talk about a resource that you should look at when you are actually applying to universities. And the resource I mentioned is on our site. It's to access it, you actually need to go to scaleupusa.xyz. And when you go to scaleupusa.xyz, click on Career Trajectory. And once you click on Career Trajectory, you're going to come to this page. And there are really two sections. You can buy the premium version, you can buy the free version. I would encourage you to look at the paid version because it has lots and lots of very important information. And by spending $300-400, you can save tens of thousands of dollars later on and not make the mistakes. But if you can't do that, at least do the free section because that's going to allow you to do something very, very important. And here's what's going to allow you to do. So if you join the free program, you'll still have access to Career Trajectory's foundational section. And in this foundational section, we are actually discussing the top 10 mistakes US students as well as international students make when they are applying to US universities. We know this because there are many, many students of ours who are applying and we sort of see the mistakes they are making. And these are same kind of mistakes. So we have actually put these mistakes 1 to 10 and we want to make sure that you don't make it. So this is completely free. So there's absolutely no reason why you should make it. And then of course there's a whole premium section which is very important and very impressive and very affordable. We'll talk about it a little later. So with this, I want to get into some of the actual hard facts here. Now, one of the things I want to mention here is when we are looking at hard facts, we are not just going to any other place and just talking some, fluff, as I mentioned. We are actually talking about the data that Ohio State University provides the US federal government. And this data is by far the most accurate, the most updated data. And so we are using that data to help you get into Ohio State University. So a couple of things just so that you know, it's a public university, it's a co-ed college, it has a semester system. I'm not going to go through all of these things, but I'm going to stop at some strategic points and I'm going to let you actually look at the data. And again, there's a lot of data here. You might need some time to actually discuss this. So you can actually pause the video, read the whole thing and actually get forward. But here is the institutional enrollment data. So there are roughly about 4,000 men and about 4,000 women that are getting admitted each year. And you can see the breakup at the undergraduate level. You can see the breakup at the graduate level. So you have some idea of what's happening. If you want to understand how they are breaking up by ethnicity, you can check this out. So there are roughly about 1,000 non-resident aliens, which means they are international students. There are about 300 to 400 Hispanics and so on and so forth. As you can see, the largest number of folks who are applying are white, non-Hispanic. There are also a whole bunch of Asian students there, total of about 7,944. Now, if you want to see what kind of degrees are being given, lots of bachelor's level degrees, lots of master's level degrees, lots of PhD and postdoctoral degrees and scholarships available here. This is important because you know where the university is actually, providing most of its degrees here. So it's important for you to note this. Now I want to take you to something very, very interesting. I want to show you, the details about how many folks are applying, how many are getting admitted, how many of these are getting enrolled, and having these kind of data. So you can see, roughly about 24,000 men and 24,000 women are applying. You can see roughly about half of them seem to be getting admitted. A lot more women seem to be getting admitted than men. You can see how many men are being enrolled versus women. You can almost see that there are more women in this college than men, which is actually happening in most US colleges now. And then what you can actually see is what is the admission criteria. This is a very important chart, folks. And I would encourage you to actually stop the video and look at this very carefully. These are the characteristics that Ohio State says that they are going to apply in selecting students. You need to understand this and you need to see that you fit as closely as possible to what criteria they are saying. So for example, here what they are saying is important to them is the rigor of your secondary school, which is your high school. They want a high class rank, they want a high GPA, they want a high standardization course test score. So this is at least what they need. On the important side, they want a good essay, they want good extracurricular activities, they want talent, they want it to be a first generation, they want some volunteer work, and they want some work experience. So again, if you have these kind of characteristics, this might be a great, great college to get in. Again, you need to go out and match what your expertise is versus what the university wants. Now, one thing that I wanted to mention here, if you remember the resource I talked about, career trajectory, in the paid section, there is a whole lot of information on how do you go about, applying to US colleges. So first of all, we have this whole program for actually, preparing your mind for success. This is a great program. This allows you to think how you can succeed in your career in US. So you should take this. There's also a section for international students and parents. They need to take this because they will understand much more about the international aspect of applying to US. We also have a very interesting college application timeline. What students seem to do is that they start preparing for college 1 or 2 years, maybe in the 11th or 12th grade. This college application timeline actually gives them a real strategic view of how they can start planning all the way from 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade. So again, this is a very, very important aspect. Very important area where lots of students make mistake, and I would absolutely urge you to take this section, is how do you really select your major? Studying in US is great. And there are lots and lots of great universities, as I mentioned, but you need to take the right major so that your career can actually blast off. If you take the wrong majors, you're going to have lots of trouble in your future career. And this section talks about the strategy for you to select the major which actually fits your needs and actually makes you successful. So absolutely make sure that you go out and do this. And then, of course, we have this whole section about personal branding. There are lots and lots of students that are applying to Ohio State University. You saw, about 50,000 students are applying to Ohio State University each year. And lots of them will have a great GPA and a great test score and all these kind of things. But where you can differentiate is really your personal brand. But how do you build your personal brand? That is what's being discussed here. Very critical for all universities in US. Make sure you check this section out. Then, of course, we are talking about standardization tests. What are these? How do you improve? That's the big important question. Then here's the big section on selecting the best college fit. Now, we have discussed Ohio State here, but there are lots and lots of universities. And how do you go about selecting the right university is what is being discussed here. Now, of course, you're probably going to need financial aid in terms of scholarships or fellowships or loan. Don't make the mistake of actually going out and trying something before reading this section, especially if you're going to take loans. You have to understand the issues behind loans. If you take the wrong type of loan for the wrong type of college and wrong type of major, you're going to be in serious trouble. So make sure you check this out. And then, of course, we have a whole section on how do you apply really, really well. And this is the section which is actually dealing with the section that I was talking of here earlier. What are the important selection criteria for college and what do you need to do? So here we are talking about how to write the best essays, how to write the best recommendation letters. If they need a resume, how do you do it? So all of these kind of things are being discussed in this section. There's a lot of information here. I'm not going to get into all of it, but I told you that I'm going to provide you a great resource. This is as good as a resource that you can get online. So again, going back to our topic, understand what are the important criteria, understand what are the very important criteria, make sure that you match with what you are doing, and then select a college. Now, the other thing that I wanted to mention is, I said we're going to talk about what kind of standardization test scores these universities are asking. So if you look at Ohio State, roughly 35% of the folks are submitting SATs and 80% of the folks are submitting ACTs. You can sort of see the numbers here. And then it's also talking about the 25th percentile and 75th percentile. So I would encourage you, if you're going to apply, you want to sort of stay closer to the 75th percentile, not be in the 25th percentile, because the higher you are, the better chances you're going to have. Now, here's very interesting data. This is data which is absolute gold, folks. You don't get this data easily on the internet. So here's the data about how the first year, first time student scores are broken in. So 23% of them were in the 700 to 800 category in SATs. 52% were in the 600 to 699. Again, you can stop this video and check it out. You can also check it out for, the ACTs. Now, a couple of other things. Where are students ranking in their class? Percentage in the top 10 of high school, the top 10% of high school were about 63%. About 25%, top 25% of your high school are 94%. So if you're in the bottom half of your high school, you probably are not going to get into this college. So again, stop this video, check out these numbers, make sure that you are really, applying in the right direction. I don't know whether there's any more details available here that I should go through. Let me just check here. There's one more detail I was looking at, where students are applying. So it's sort of giving you how many people applied, how many people are enrolled. All of this kind of data is available. There's one more detail here somewhere which talked about, can you waive your application fee? And it said, yes, you can. So that was the data I was trying to find, but I'm not finding it here. There's lots and lots of information here. So I'm not going to waste your time on some of these activities. But I just want to quickly go and see that I've not missed something very important for you folks. Looks like I've not missed anything, so I'm going to get into some other details. Now, here's some other information that might be interesting. where are all the bachelor's degrees being given. So you can see agriculture is a big part, engineering is a big part here. So obviously these are very big programs. Psychology is a big part. Here's what is business and marketing is a big part. Health professions are a big part. So you understand where the university is doing really, really well. This tells you where you need to get in and what are the most important areas for that university. Now, a couple of other things I wanted to talk to you again. Keeping to our theme, we are getting data from the federal government. Here's one more data, yardstick that you need to look at. What is it going to cost you to begin an undergraduate degree? So again, stop this video and check it out if you need to check more details. But again, as you can see how the pricing has changed year over year. I'm going to focus on 2018, 2019. You can see if you look at all these prices, if you're on campus and in state, your pricing would be about $27,000. If you are on campus and you are out of state student, your pricing will be about $20,000 more, so $47,000. Again, for a college that high up, 56th ranked, I think it is, in all of US, that's a very good price to pay. So again, what I also wanted to do is to talk about a little bit about financial aid situation. I told you that we will discuss this. Again, if you need more information, stop this video, check it out in detail. Again, if you look at the 2017-2018 data, you can see how many people are receiving financial aid, what's the percentage. You can see how much money is available in each category. You can see how many of them are getting loans, how many of them are getting scholarships. Again, you can stop this and actually check it out and then see where you can apply and what you can get. So this is again a very important kind of criteria. The other criteria that I want to mention is something called the average net price for a full-time beginning student. What is the average net price you're going to pay if you actually join this college? So that includes all the costs that you have to pay in the university minus any fellowships, grants, loans, anything else. So the average net price you need to be prepared to pay if you're going to Ohio State is about $18,000. So you need to be aware of that. And then the last thing I wanted to mention here is the crime statistics. You want to be aware of where this university is, what kind of crime statistics are there. So again, you can stop this video and check it out. No murders on campus, no negligent manslaughters there. There are some rapes, so some of those kind of things you need to go back and look at. So again, a very good amount of data here. You need to stop the video and check it out. Now, one last thing that I want to mention is PayScale does a report for the salaries for each of the universities. I'm just going to that particular section here for Ohio State. The average salary is $69,000. They also have this criteria called 20-year net ROI. And it's a very complex formula, so I'm not going to get into the formula. You just need to understand the higher the number, the better it is. And the number here is 374,000. That's what the number is. The average cost is about $103,000. That's what the average cost is. You can also see early career salaries, for students coming out of this college is $55,000. Mid-career salary is about $98,000. So all in all, a great college. That's something which you should definitely consider. And again, if you're going to apply here, make sure that you use this resource, at least the free one. If you need advance help, then obviously you need to look at buying the premium section again, which is very affordable. Now, one more thing I want to just mention here is that we are at the end of this program. So if you like it, make sure that you share this video, make sure that you subscribe to this video, and then you also make sure that you are actually joining the free program because it's going to help you. So all the best.